If you see him, just tell him to go away. Go away, Shane! Go away! The Ruse is currently streaming on Tubi. It was written, produced, and directed by Stefan Mena, who did Bereavement and some other projects, and features a young nurse named Dale, played by Madeline Dundon, who takes a job that she desperately needs, taking care of an old lady named Olivia, who lives in an isolated area with a few people that know her name, and she's always glad they came, even if she has breathing issues and dementia of the brain. Even if she can't always remember their names. No, this is not taking place in, well, it's not taking place in Boston or the Cheers bar, as hilarious as that would have been. But Olivia does need round-the-clock care, and Dale is willing to do everything she can to take care of Olivia, even though dementia patients can be very tough to take care of. Dale also has some certain things that occurred early on in her life, and even recently in her life, that she's trying to compartmentalize. Her boyfriend's not exactly being full-on supportive, but don't worry, there are other people that can help her with blackjack and hookers, such as a man named Tom. Tom, the Piper's son, stole a pig and away he went. Actually, he has a daughter named Penny. He knew the other nurse that was there named Tracy. We see her in the very beginning, and she seemingly vanishes. And also, there is a delivery driver named Jacob that rides a little motor scooter. I guess they can't afford other things in, whatever town this is, USA. And basically, we just get this attempt at a murder mystery that is an attempt to basically try to take this basic story and put spins on it and tweak it like you're tweaking nipples to the point that they get sore, they could cut glass, and then the person is about to smack you so you feel lightning shoot out of your ass. So The Ruse actually got a limited theatrical release. How limited? I think it was playing at maybe 2 theaters in my area for like 1 week. I didn't have a chance to go see it. I saw it was on Amazon. I didn't get around to it. Happened to go through Tubi after watching Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 3, Better Watch Out, and decided, sure, I'll give this a shot. I saw a trailer, I think before The Home, if I remember right, the one with Pete Davidson. And I didn't think the movie looked particularly awful. I didn't think it looked particularly good. But what caught my eye was the fact that Olivia is played by Veronica Cartwright. Yes, that same one. From The Birds, and from Alien, and from various other projects. Projects that actually were good. Because guess what? The Ruse isn't. It's not good. The Ruse actually is an appropriate name because it's, it's giving you a ruse. It's, putting the illusion up that this actually might be anything other than such a basic bitch of a concept with terrible, I'm sorry, the dialogue is abysmal. Everything is just laid out, just slopped out on a fucking plate. You practically could get a bingo card of all the cliches and everything and all the backstory stuff, and everything is so just shoved in your face like, here, you idiot, you stupid viewer, this is what we're going to do, and this is who is responsible, and this is how we're going to lay it out. To the point, and this might be a mild spoiler, there is a detective that literally explains everything at the end of the movie. By the way, everything that everybody pretty much figured out within the first, 20 to 30 minutes. This is fucking rotten. What did Veronica Cartwright do to be in this? I mean, this is like a Lifetime movie if it was, shot a little bit better. I'm not even saying that the people funding the film, the people shooting the film are bad. But this is such a terrible stretch of a 100-minute movie when it barely had enough material for 60 minutes. I'm going to get in goddamn spoilers, so it's on Tubi if you want to check it out. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Seriously, what the fuck is Veronica Cartwright doing in this? So, the lighting at times was a little bit questionable. I will say that much. There were 4 co-producers, and it is what it is. What did Veronica do to deserve this? I don't know. So, we find out that, in the opening, that Tracy is, taking care of Olivia, and then suddenly freaks out when the camera approaches her. Oh my God, Tracy's dead. So, you don't touch her figures. If you touch any of her figurines, if you put anything out of place, she's very OCD. You don't do that. Dale finds that out the hard way. And once they showed a character named Tom, I said, gee, I wonder what's going to end up happening with him. I can't imagine that he's got anything to do with Tracy's disappearance. So, Olivia, used to do music. And also, Dale ends up revealing that while she can use both hands, she had nerve damage from a bacterial infection in her right arm, so she has problems with her right hand, fully gripping things. And then there's a little girl named Penny. I think the kid does all right, all things considered, but the kid really isn't given much of anything to do except be a plot device. And then suddenly we see a shot of the seller from Good Boy. How's it going? It's not, but it made me think that the seller from Good Boy would have probably put together something better than this. Yes, a goddamn seller that is an inanimate object. So, suddenly we get, like some guy spying on her. And at first you might have thought that it would have been, the boyfriend that didn't want to be there anymore. But no, it actually turned out to be somebody that it's pretty goddamn obvious who it fucking was. And there's going to be a replacement by Thursday. I'm skipping over a lot of this plot because really not a lot of this matters. Like, it is so just bare bones and basic. But the agency's giving you a second chance, so you got to be willing to put in the work, honey. And then we find out that basically a patient died in Dale's care, and Dale is very disappointed by that. She was not left notes that he was allergic to ibuprofen, so a certain medication ended up killing him. And when the storm hit, I said, oh, these rain effects, that was fun. Windows Movie Maker 98 apparently is getting some work put in. It turns out also Olivia is very wealthy. Tom has revealed that he knew Tracy. He ends up kind of getting a little bit close to Dale. And other than that, we really don't get much. Jacob does reveal that, oh, you don't want to get near Tom because Tom ended up yelling at me because I was just joking around with Tracy, even though I left groceries for her, some chocolates that she liked, stealing from my work. That can't possibly end badly. Whatever. So after the power went out, Tom conveniently knows where everything is in the house. Gee, almost like Tom has something to do with this. And there's some stuff about music. Music going on and, like really, really loud orchestral music. And there's an idea that maybe Olivia is faking some of this stuff. Like she's sick, but maybe not as sick as she says. Tom has anger issues, which is pretty obvious when it's later seen that Penny has some marks on her from a fight at school. You don't hit your children. What the hell? And Jacob basically says that, oh yeah, Tom's wife, yeah, she's dead and he killed her. Now, it's possible. Who knows? We don't really care what goes on. But Albert, Olivia's late husband, is trying to warn Olivia about, the stuff that Dale did. Dale confesses all the stuff that she lost a patient. And then Tom conveniently shows up, and there's certain things that are going on with, like, stuff that he, like his behavior is not quite lining up. There's muddy footprints. There's weird stuff going on. Tracy's phone is found. And, that's a little bit weird. Tracy's phone is found. And Jacob seems to have a bunch of weird pics and videos and stuff on his phone. The police have shown up to question about Tracy's disappearance and other things and everything. And Olivia is, all dementia-like. So really, it's trying to be topsy-turvy, but it's really just a linear line and a linear path. And Tom ends up kind of, yelling. He ends up getting arrested conveniently. So he's in jail. So naturally, all the crimes are going to stop, except no. She ends up finding an old, like, camera, like, some weird cords and stuff like that that's like leading somewhere to like some hidden camera area because she broke the mug, this mug that was like that meant a lot to Olivia, and then she saw this footage, and this footage showed the mug, but then it was like all looped. Once she got to the live feed, we saw that, oh shit, somebody has looped this footage. It's so Olivia can walk around, because Olivia's been faking it this whole goddamn time. Another nurse shows up, by the way, and that nurse ends up getting killed. And Jacob also ends up getting conveniently killed. And Then we smash cut to Dale in the interrogation room, and the detective is explaining I know the detective said his name. I don't care. But the detective is saying, here, you had all this footage looped, and look at all this stuff. Like, look, that you conveniently got the live feed and then end up killing Olivia and catching it. And she basically points out, why would I do that? And if I did, why would I make the live feed, go up right when I was going to kill somebody? Which is true. But then he sees, talking about what hand she uses. Well, my right hand's damaged or whatever. I mean, I can use it, but not really to grip too much stuff. I have to use my left hand. And then he basically tells Tom he's free to go. Okay, something's going on. They also find out about, where the whereabouts of Tracy, where her body is, and, Jake, all this stuff's going on, and then suddenly they're back in the house, and here's Tom picking up a wig, because it was him dressed up like, Jesus Christ, he was picking up the wig because Tracy is actually alive. That whole thing of her being approached by the camera was just a ruse in a movie called The Ruse, I know. Because they wanted to get a whole bunch of money from Olivia because Tom got power of attorney. And that's basically where we're going with that. So, all right, Tracy's very much alive. She gives up all the stuff. Oh, and Jacob ended up actually backing up the files. So even though stuff got deleted, it was still in a folder. So all the stuff that he shot where it was just supposed to be, Olivia being helped further along, to die because she was pretty much dead anyway. No, now another nurse gets killed and all this, and then Jacob got killed. So yeah, it was a really badly thought out plan. And by the way, this is explained a whole lot better by me than it was by anybody in the movie, because it is an agonizingly long scene. Actually it's a sequence because it's pretty much over the last 20 minutes. And Tom had gambling debts, and Penny found out about them, and so he slapped her. Don't slap your children. What the fuck's wrong with you? And because Jacob kept that stuff, Tom's going to end up going to jail. And then he got shot on the dock. Meanwhile, Dale, by the way, is brought back by the agency, and she needs some time to process, and she's wondering what's going to happen to Penny. Penny, I think, had relatives in Worcester, the best of time, the Worcestershire of times. And Dale had mentioned earlier that she has a sister that died, or not a sister that died, but the mother died giving birth to the sister. So she wants to go reconnect with her because they bounced around in foster homes, I guess. And she's going to go do that. That is The Ruse. That is literally it. It is honestly one of the stupidest movies of the year. And I only explain the plot this way because it's just so mind-numbingly dull. You will jumble stuff in your head just trying to say, like, okay, how are they going to cobble this together and make a coherent movie? And the long explanation scene, I don't care if you want to have somebody explain a few things. That's fine. Oh, the detective was smart this whole time. Okay. Treating the audience like fucking idiots, which then again, if you fall asleep during this movie, which you are bound to do because of how boring it is, the detective can catch you up at the very end and you feel like you haven't missed shit. Except this shit. And The Ruse is shit. Sorry to everybody that thought you were making a good movie, but I didn't think so. And I'm just one person. But I've seen a lot of people that said it's not very good. Is there talent in front and behind the camera? Sure. Were they featured? Well, no. What the fuck is Veronica Cartwright doing in this? Did she have gambling debts that we don't know about? Whatever. F. The Ruse is terrible. Maybe I'm just mad because I've just watched so many movies this year that have even a halfway decent premise and just drop it and let it break and then try to pick up the pieces and form it back together and it looks like it was put together in a mix master. So anyway, F. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentlin, and until we see a better thriller than this, once again, please, for the love of God, happy trails to you.